All righty, here we are. Welcome to another Kickstarter Kickstart. I'm Eli Schwab, and we are live in Cartoonist Kayfabe Ringside seats. We've got special guest Rocko, Jerome, and we have Matt Sardo, the man who is planning the biggest and bestest indie comics creators con that you've ever been to. So we're going to talk about it right now. We're going to get going, and we're going to show you the Kickstarter. What's up, Matt? What's up, Rocko?
Oh man, that was really exciting. I kind of felt like I was at a wrestling match for a second, and I want to just jump through the screen and beat up Rocko now.
Yeah, let's go.
Match is scheduled for one fall. One fall.
So how's things going, Matt? Tell us a little bit. Let's just start at the beginning here. Tell us about the con. Tell us about your vision for it and what you hope it's going to do.
Well, the biggest thing is this group kind of inspired all of this. I signed a contract to do this convention in St. Pete, Florida, and I handed money over and paid my deposit. And then like 3 days later, the world got shut down because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And Manny Gomez introduced me to this group, and I was all depressed and everything like that. And I was like, oh man, I can't do a con. What should I do? And I was like, oh, let's put a con in a magazine, because I was watching all you guys make your own books. And I was like, oh, this is cool. We should totally do this. And I was like, so we did Monkeys Fighting Robots, the magazine #1, where we had all the indie creators and we did the articles and we did that Kickstarter, and that went crazy bonkers successful. And because of the inspiration of you guys and the support of this group. But my goal was always to do this convention.
Yeah.
And I think things happen for a reason, because I wanted to call it the St. Pete Indie Comic Expo. And Jamie Jones even made a poster, and it was Spice. And all the comments I got were about the Spice channel back in the day. And they thought it was a porn convention. And I was like, oh man, apparently we dodged a bullet on that one. That would have been interesting in Florida to have a Spice con.
A night of spice, they called it.
The Spice.
I probably would have made $1 gazillion if it was a porn convention.
A lot of very disappointed attendees, though.
Yes, very. But so I moved to Connecticut a year ago, and I've been getting acclimated in the scene. And there's a really cool arts district in New Haven, Connecticut. Yale's out there, Bridgeport's out there. There's a cool arts community out there, and it seemed like a really great place to do a show. And I found the college that wanted to be part of it. And again, signed paperwork, put the deposit down, and nice. Here we are. So now we opened up Artist Alley applications probably like 2 months ago. And we have so many amazing people coming to the show from the group from all over. We have people from Canada. We have people coming from Seattle. You're coming from California. Rocko, where do you live?
I live in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, he's coming from there. That's where he's coming from.
Yeah.
So we have a really great indie crew of creators coming to the show. And so then the next step was launching the Kickstarter to jumpstart ticket sales and funding so that we could bring in a guest of honor, and whether we have to fly them in or drive them in from the city or wherever we want to do that. So the point of the Kickstarter is to help fund bringing in bigger name creators to then pack the house and everything. And so that's the plan with that. And we're going well. We're 26% funded in the first week. So we're on course to meet our goal. But we could you could always use more backers.
Yeah. Well, tell us about like why people should back it. Like tell us a few of maybe the names of creators that are going to be there, and how this is set apart from other cons.
Well, this con is going to be specific to indie creators. It's going to be a small press expo kind of thing. I don't want to steal names from other conventions and stuff like that, but you have a really cool vibe with Heroes Con, with all the creators going there. There's mice up here in Massachusetts and Boston. There's a cake in Chicago where they have a nice indie con, and like there's such a vibe, and I always see people smiling and having a good time where it's like-minded people. It's not people fighting over different spaces or like, oh, I really wish this con was more comics, or I really wish this con was more whatever. Like this con is like the people that have signed up for Artist Alley are just jazzed and excited to be there.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to have, this con is going to have a cool vibe to it, you know, where everybody is just celebrating each other and trying to lift up each other to be successful. And because there's going to be people that have tabled for the first time. And then there's been seasoned vets that have been tabling themselves. So everybody who designed a poster is going to be coming to the con. So we got Tony McMillan, we have Maddie Keene, we got Sam J. Royal, Ben Granoff, Jamie Jones is going to be there. And then Cosmic Lion is going to have a huge presence.
Yes.
That's going to be awesome. You know, so you got Eli, you got Rocko, we got Todd Fox. What else? Do we have Kevin? How do you say Kevin?
Anthony Catalan, possibly
Yeah.
some of the other creators from other new books, from Paraphonetic guys. So we'll see.
And then I'm looking at the list of people in Artist Alley right now. We got Chris Anderson is coming in. We have Sam Blanchard. He's coming in as well. A lot of people from the anthology that you put together, you know, the kayfabe mashup once a month.
The ringside thology stuff.
Yeah.
I was forgetting the name of that too.
I was like, what?
Like one name too many in my brain.
Yeah.
I know there's so none of these things are simply said. It's not just Comic-Con. It's not just kayfabe. It's got to be like 5 words in a row that you have to link together. Who else? CK Craig is going to be there. I know he's super excited, and I'm trying to look at all the list of people.
Rick Lopez definitely coming down.
Yeah.
Yep. But I'm going to actually I'm just going through the list and all over the place. James Coates. I'm trying to think of who else is it. David Grom.
Kickstarter. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, all the names I've recognized from the kayfabe group is on this, and there are some people reaching out from the city now. I see people from Staten Island, and so it's starting to get a presence in the area right now outside of the kayfabe group. So we have all these different creators coming down. We have some cool Kickstarter rewards. We have like a digital tier that's like $10. And one of the cool things about it is you're going to get a digital comics bundle from a whole bunch of these different creators. So I think it's going to be over 20 comic books and magazines, and everything is going to be there in this file. So after you back the Kickstarter, you're just going to get a link to a file, and you're going to have all these books from all these different creators, and that's going to be pretty amazing.
We have an important thing to announce as pertains to that, right?
That's right. Take it away, Rocko.
Image Grand Design will be available as part of that digital package. Image Grand Design, which for a lot of us was the beginning of this sort of movement within our own group here of Cartoonist Kayfabe Ringside Seats. Like you said, it's a lot of words. To me, that was my entry point. Everything that I've done since with Ghost Agents and all of that, it all began there. And 2020 during the pandemic, which a lot of people feel is a real golden era during the lifespan of the Cartoonist Kayfabe Ringside Seats. The product of that was Image Grand Design, and that was this IC3 is sort of the next step in my mind and in the minds of a lot of people too, I think. Absolutely. Of what began with Image Grand Design. Because when we were working on that, it was like we do these Zoom things well into the night because nobody had anything going on in their lives at that point. And we would talk about how cool it would be to eventually get together. This is what this is. All of this stuff that we've talked about and believed in and had these grandiose ideas about what it can be and how it can grow. This is where it all reaches some level of fruition. So we need this to be successful for those reasons. This is either a movement in the way that independent comics can be made and that all comics can be made and consumed, or it isn't. And this is the next big thing where that's concerned. I'm confident it'll work, but it only works with people coming to the show and contributing to the show, or even if you can't be there in person, to be able to do some sort of one of the digital packages that Matt can tell you more about. This thing is somewhere, it's something where we need support to make it real. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. And if you can't make it, the digital package is an amazing thing to get. And also, you know, you get your name in the guidebook, or you get your name in.
Whoa. We're not making a program and we're not making a guidebook. Let me cut you off on that one right away.
Yeah, I'm scrolling.
We're making an indie
name.
Comics yearbook.
There we go. Right. Exactly. Tell me about
so
that.
If you can't attend the event, all the artists in Artist Alley and the creators are going to give me a picture of themselves, the prettiest one ever, a nice bio, and a link to where they want them to go, where you want the reader to go. And then they're going to give me some artwork or prose or whatever they want. And I'm going to set up this nice 2-page spread for each creator, so that if you don't come to the con, or even if you're at the con, you can look through this book and be inspired by all these amazing artists. And you can, like I said, with your phone, just hover over the QR code and go directly to their stuff, so you can like see more of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I know that it's going to be 150 plus pages, because I know people have already given me longer stories of comics in there. And then there's going to be some of the Monkeys Fighting Robots crew are going to do some articles as well. And then I'm going to start doing some interviews of different creators that are attending the con, so we can do kind of like a deeper dive into indie comic books and like the idea of what it means to like create something and not use like big IPs, like come up with your own thing and just like rock with it. And then the passion that goes along with creating comic books and like doing this DIY self-publishing thing, because like this is not for everyone.
Yeah, totally, man.
We're a very select audience, and it's the people who are watching right now are almost certainly that audience. It's tailor made for you. This is where we are with this. This is what is coming in the world of comics.
And I'm hoping that everybody can. Yeah, that pin looks amazing. Like Sam J. Royal, he knocked out the logo like out of the park, and then like Wizard Pins crushed it on the actual like makeup of the.
He's the logo genius.
He truly is.
He did the Cosmic Lion Productions logo. He's pretty much the go-to guy if you want a logo. He does that.
I think if I reprint Tales of Monkeys Fighting Robots, because I think I'm almost sold out of all of them, the trade paperback, I think I might have him redesign the cover. He doesn't know this yet, but I will be messaging him about that.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. And I mean, it's all cool stuff. That yearbook will be a physical thing too, right?
Awesome.
Yes, you can get a digital version or you can get a physical version. And like that also, again, that is inspired by Wizard. The shirt on your, the book, the shirt, everything you got. Like,
nice.
I've seen you guys do amazing things, and it's definitely inspired me to want to do this show. And I think it's going to be great when we're all in the same room.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we talked about for so long, like during days when it looked like we might never get to be around each other ever again, when COVID was really kicking. What you said is so right on, that each thing feeds into the next thing, it feels like, and it just sort of keeps evolving. And this group is such a big part of that. So everybody who watches this group, is part of this group, going back a long time, fairly new. If you feel like it's a good feeling, I can confirm that it is. It's absolutely been life-changing for me. It's always a bit funny when people trash Facebook in my vicinity, and it's always like, well, you don't have to use it like that. You can find the people that are interested in the things that you are and find your tribe, and wherever they might live, you have a friend for life if you do it right, and it could be a really emotional thing, this thing. I mean, it could be really powerful to be able to have everybody together that's interacted only virtually and digitally so far. This could lead to a lot of different things. The ways that people could talk and, form partnerships creatively and otherwise. This could be a really, really big deal. And if you like what CKRS is all about, this is what this is now. This sounds like the Scientology video, the Tom Cruise
like
Scientology.
CKRS in real life, CKRS IRL.
Yeah. Start throwing around all those letters.
I for me, it's always like every time I see it like written out, I'm like KRS-One. Like I'm automatically, I go immediately to like music, like whenever I see it. And I think that there's going to be some hugs. I think there's definitely going to be lots of hugs.
A lot of hugs.
Yeah.
A lot of hugs. Like it's going to be fun. And like New Haven's also famous for being the best place for pizza.
Wow.
So there's going to be a lot of pizza had that weekend.
I had the second best pizza in America, according to whoever determines these things, in St. Augustine, Florida, a place called Pizza Time.
Oh.
Yeah, no, number one pizza. The second best pizza is not in St. Augustine. I've been to St. Augustine, but like you can't put Florida on the map for pizza. I'm sorry, but I love you, Rocko. I love you.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't the second best pizza I ever had. It was according to like Pizza Entrepreneur magazine or whatever. It was a cash only business, which looks like a mob thing, of course. Probably shouldn't put that out there, but I'm sure I'm not the first.
Yeah, they're definitely going to look you down now. But I do like driving through towns and seeing like, we have the state's best grinder. And I was like, you just put that sign up. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to totally have your sandwich or go have your pizza and stuff like that. But I do like when they're like, we're the best at this. Best. And they just write it on the sign.
World's best. You're like,
yeah, world's best.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk more about the Indie Creator Con. Should we take a look directly at the Kickstarter again, and let's go through some of the backup or some of the tiers that you can get on? We already talked about the Celebrate Afar tier and the digital bundle. The golden ticket. Now this is the one. This is like the base tier that's going to get you into the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So this gets you into the show. It also gets you the digital bundle. You know, like it's going to be the ticket. I'm going to get some nice lanyards for this, and it's going to be a keepsake. I'm hoping that you like go to this event and like you come home and you like hang up your ticket and your lanyard and you're like, that's going to sit on my wall for a while. Yeah. Like it's going to sit there for a while. So I'm going to try to make something nice for everybody. And then after that, like again, the Indie Comics yearbook, we have the digital copy for $20, and you get the digital bundle as well. So you get image grand design, you get all the other stuff in there. Jeffrey Krawcheck, like I think he just messaged me with a whole bunch of books he's added to it. So we're going to have like a not safe for work section of comic books in there too. So
nice.
I
love pornography.
Jeez.
It's art, man. It's art. It's not pornography.
It can be both.
There you go. And then we have this amazing print by Maddie Keene that I've held up. Oh, but we're not there anymore. You can't see me, but that's fine.
Yeah, we can.
It's very cool. It's very cool. And it really, that print really encapsulates what it's all about.
There you go.
That really.
Yeah, there's the ticket package where you get the print and the ticket as well. Yeah, and like Rocko said, this is kind of what I think of when I think of all you guys making comic books, or you guys doing the Ringside anthology. Like when I see that Zoom meeting, I'm like, I feel like I would love to see the thought bubbles above all your heads while you're making the magazine. Like that would be awesome.
Be cool.
Agreed.
And these posters, let's take a quick detour to talk about all these different posters. Anybody can make an Indie Comics Creator Con poster. You are invited to do so. Great way to promote the show for all of us. Great way to promote your own work. We encourage you to do that. Just, don't put any nipples on it. Don't put anybody, do anything too horribly violent. Just use common sense when you do that. But these are special certain ones that we had already had in the works as we were moving towards announcing this thing. So these are sort of the Kickstarter specific posters that you can get if you're coming to the show, or you can order even if you're not coming to the store or come to the show, right?
Right. You can definitely get all these prints mailed to you, or you can get them at the show as well. We prefer that you back the Kickstarter now as opposed to waiting.
Please don't make
like it's, for me, it was trying to find a spectrum of what indie comics means. And like, it's definitely this is a rainbow of creators that have created posters that I think hits almost everything. Yeah, I mean, you're never going to hit everything, but like, I think, Ben does a great job with his poster, and then Jamie does his Cartoonist Special, which is straight on Jamie Jones.
Yeah.
And then Sam just wants to melt your face off with his skulls, and that's what, you know, punk rock indie as well. And then Pat Rooks is like, hey, I'm gonna be this like nice happy-go-lucky but creepy punk rock kind of thing. Like there's all these different vibes that I get from all the different posters. And then like
Comics can be a lot of different things. That's all what I always say as a defense when people try to sort of poo-poo it and act like it's not a viable art form or storytelling medium. It doesn't just have to be superheroes. It doesn't just have to be anything.
Yeah.
You can do literally anything in a comic book. And I think we've only begun to really push against the barriers of what's possible in comics.
Yeah, I mean, it's when I had a comic book store in Chicago, I told everybody who walked through the door, like, if you can't find a comic book for yourself, it means you're not looking hard enough. Because even at that time in the late aughts, you know, there was a spectrum of comic books out there. So whatever you were looking for, you know, whatever you thought your I don't know, there's a comic book out there for everybody. And no matter what kind of curmudgeon you are, I can find you a comic book that you'll enjoy.
Yep.
Because there's so many different people making books now. Like it's just, and it's what's amazing about indie comic books is that, you know, the pandemic happened and everybody like started self-publishing stuff during when there wasn't conventions, and like it's bonkers crazy how much it's grown in this little bit of this 3-year window, but also like how much it's grown since you know, like the 90s and the 80s, like where my kind of generation. Because like my friend who's an art teacher in Connecticut, his final project for his art students was putting an anthology together, and he handed them that book at the end of class. If
cool.
somebody handed me a comic book that I made in 10th grade, my life completely would have changed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, it would have been, it's insane how easy it is to print a book now and how affordable it is. So the barrier to entry to making comic books is almost non-existent now. It's still hard, and you still have to find your audience, and you still have to like fund these things. And if you want to make money, you're going to have to hustle a lot. So like making comics, it's easy to get through the door. It's hard to be successful, you know, like, but like you can do it now. And nobody should be afraid of making a comic book right now.
Yeah, agreed.
There's more avenues now than ever before.
Absolutely. Get out there and do it. Or get out there and get the golden ticket and convention pin package.
Right. And I'm just looking at Tony McMillan's poster right there. If you want the hard truth about making comics, there it is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All your tools.
But yeah, we have you know, Sam J. Royal designed the logo, and then we got this pin made and it looks epic. So you can you can get a ticket and you pin. You can get the indie yearbook, a physical copy as well. And then, you know, we have the all-inclusive package where you get like the ticket, the pin, and all the prints. And then we start going crazy where you get everything, you know, you get where you can get a lifetime ticket where you never have to worry about buying a ticket again, because I'm in this for the long haul.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, it's a 1-day convention first time. Year 2, it's a 2-day convention. And then in year 3, we find a bigger venue and we just keep it going as a 2-day convention.
Yep.
Because one of the things that I've established once I had kids and I had other obligations is this Friday, Saturday, Sunday Comic-Con thing, or even Thursday, Friday, Saturday, doesn't work for most creators, because most creators have other jobs too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Even you know, guys that work in the industry, their full-time job is writing comics or drawing comic books. So to take 3 or 4 days off to go to a con and not do your job is tough too. So I wanted to do a con where it was easy for a small creator to be like, okay, I'm going to the show. I'm going to, you know, sell my wares. I'm going to get some feedback and I'm going to have a great time. And then I'm going to go home, as opposed to being like, okay, I got to take off of work Friday. I got to travel. I got to do all this stuff. Like my job as convention director is to make this as easy as possible for everybody involved. Artist Alley, I want to make sure that your time at the show is easily managed and you have a good time and you're successful. And then for the people attending the event, I want everything to run smoothly. And I want you to come into the building and just see all these creators and enjoy yourself. And then Rocko is going to put together some amazing panels for this, because we also have a 200-seat theater for panels.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Once we get to the point that we start talking about guests, we can definitely start to talk more about that. But I have 10 years of experience doing convention programming at a show called Wonderfest here in Louisville. And I really look forward to being able to do this the way that I know it can be done. I'm very much looking forward to doing that. It's something I've done a little bit of project management in that world, and I know that we're going to be able to have some good talks and some really interesting people to share their stories of how they got to where they are in the world of comics.
Hell yeah. Shout out to the comments and to the chat over here. We got Ro, Chris Anderson, Brian Apodaca, Sean Luke, who's going to be there. Ro's going to be there. Chris is going to be there. Some of the greatest creators of our crew here that are going to be there, and you should be too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other ideas as far as who the bigger guests are going to be, or how you're going to choose those bigger guests once we start getting things moving?
Well, if anybody watching this now would like to comment with who they would like the guest of honor to be, I will definitely take all those suggestions in the hand. I have a few ideas of who I would like to bring in, and I've reached out to a few people, but it's going to be tough. That's not going to be tough. It's going to be tough to decide a guest of honor. That's what I'm going to say, because there's so many cool people creating comic books right now. And when I was on Mike's show on Friday, I don't know if he put the video up yet, but we were talking about creators, and I started rattling off my indie guys, but most of the indie guys that I really like dabble in big 2 projects as well. So I'm like, oh man, do you go with somebody that's like full blown indie, or do you bring over somebody who started indie and then became successful and still dabbles in indie, but pays the bills with big 2 stuff? Like, where is your indie, I don't know, indie moral compass? Is that what we want to talk about?
Yeah. When do they stop becoming indie? And Chris Anderson mentioned Eastman and Laird, the most successful indie guys of all time. Obviously, those would be amazing to get some of those Turtles guys who are, many of them are East Coast. I know Eastman lives in San Diego, but we got Laird, we got Jim Lawson, Steve Levine, Eric Talbot, some of those dudes we could try to wrangle.
There is nobody that I will not try to knock on the door.
Yeah.
So you guys give me who you want to come to the show, and I will knock on every door possible and see who is available and what can happen and how we can make it work and stuff like that. Because this is going to be a successful show, and we're going to have some cool guests, and we're going to have an amazing artist alley.
Yeah.
But for me, because I don't know, what would you want out of like a guest of honor at a convention?
I think definitely someone that could come in and hold have a panel too. That would be enough to get a lot of people in and interested and have something to present and show and speak about their experiences with indie comics, which is probably, from the 80s or 90s or something like that. That's going to be a little different from what all we started. Oh, Johnson Benjamin, shout out. He said Daniel Warren Johnson. You should definitely hit him up.
That's definitely one of the people that's in my top 5 these days.
Yeah.
I want to be careful about putting names out there, but I think he's great. And I think what Matt is saying is very valid about being able to work both with the big two stuff and also create our own stuff. And I mean, for a long time, like you saw this with like Brubaker, Bendis was another one. They made their bones in indie comics, got hired by Marvel and DC, did that for a while, made them a lot of money, and then went back to where they were with a greater audience, you know? So
Exactly.
I don't know, there's a lot to be said for that. I don't think, you know, I mean, I love a lot of the big two intellectual property. There's still stuff that comes out that I like. I recently had a sort of a semi-argument with a friend of mine who pretty much only reads big two comics, where I had read that Nightwing book where it's like, it was the one from a couple of years ago where it's like one of those family circles
Perspectives,
where it's like you see every little drawing of Nightwing as he runs through the book and the whole.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
I got around reading it and I was like, is this good when I like this? And he was like, I'm not even going to talk to you about it because you don't like those books. And I was like, that doesn't seem fair. There's stuff. And he was like, when's the last time? And I was like, Trad Moore did a Doctor Strange thing that just wrapped and they did a collection. I thought it was great. He was like, that doesn't count. That's not mainstream. I mean, regular issues of a regular run of the, and it's like, so now that's an indie comic? Like it's Doctor Strange, Marvel printed it. These are artificial designations that you're creating here, you know? So
yes.
I don't know, you know, I mean, it's they're Marvel and DC are gonna sometimes print something that's weird and I'll like it, you know. It's not that I like it because it's weird, it's just that that's what tends to appeal to me. But
we'll have to put this suggestion out to the group of like, what is the kayfabe Mount Rushmore? What are those 4 creators that you encapsulate indie creators? So maybe we'll make another thread where like, hey, what is your Mount Rushmore? Because I think it's really tough to, you know, nail it down. And like I said, the Turtles guys, you didn't see them bounce other places. They just did Turtles.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something like that. Or
once they made $1 million, and I mean that whole story is pretty amazing of how that all came to be, and it's really a cautionary tale. You know, like Eli and I talk about that sometimes when we're dreaming. It's like, what if we made $1 billion, but we weren't friends anymore? We didn't like each other anymore. It's a lot. I'm going to go ahead. This will be a double plug. There's a thing called Indie Comics Creator Community, which is its own message group. There's no reason you cannot be a member of both groups, but I'm going to go ahead and post in there right now who is on your Indie Comics. I'm going to go ahead and capitalize Indian Comics. Mount Rushmore.
It was funny because one of the backers on the Kickstarter, her name was Tiffany McFarlane, and I immediately Googled who was Todd McFarlane's wife.
Daughter.
And I was like, for a second, I was like, oh my God.
It's happening.
That'd be pretty wild.
The Todd father.
I mean, for me, like my number one get of the person I'd want to like, it's one of those things. It's like, if I'm bringing in a big guest, it's somebody I'd want to hang out with, you know, because I'm going to have to pick this person up at the airport. I'm going to have to like drive them around. We're going to have, you know, probably going to have dinner at some point in time, or they're going to do their own thing. I mean, I love talking with Todd McFarlane. I've interviewed him a few times, and he's just so intense from a business point of view, where I know that he is just like cutthroat and like aggressive because he used to play baseball. He used to play baseball at a high level. So he's got like an athlete's mentality. But watching somebody at that level of determination, like, hey, I'm going to draw the best Spider-Man ever, and I'm going to figure out how to do it. Well, you guys can all fight about that in the comments below. But be like, okay, toys suck. I'm going to go make the best toy possible. Like that mentality of being like, you know, this sucks. I'm going to figure out how to make a better version of it. Like it's it's aggressive and it's totally like not now, but like it works for him, you know. And part of me like gets really jazzed up talking to him when he gets passionate about like, you know, I'm gonna build these toys and it's gonna be the best toys ever, and we're gonna figure out this and we're gonna do that. Like I backed his like Spawn action figure Kickstarter campaign, and like it's probably one of the coolest action figures I have, because he's like, I'm gonna do all these crazy things and it's gonna be like bonkers crazy. And I love hanging out with those type of creators, the ones that are like super jazzed about the industry,
Yeah,
and also like inspiring at about the same time. You know, like Gail Simone is her words of wisdom in me have always, I've repeated them a million times, that like, you don't have a special effects budget in your comic book. Your comic book has an infinite special effects budget. So there's no reason for your comic book to be boring. Like that's what she said. And it makes total sense. You know, but some people are like, you know, when you make a comic book, you're like, oh, I'm kind of, your head's in this box of like, oh, this is what I can do. This is what I can do. But no, somebody needs to knock you on the head and be like, no, you can go bonkers, man. You can go bonkers crazy with these comic books, and you can create anything you want. And those are the people that I like hanging out with. Like, and Tim Seeley's one of those guys. When I was in Chicago, he was like the most inspiring comic creator that I've hung out with, because everybody was like doom and gloom, all this stuff. Cause like when I had the comic book store out there was like the recession kind of thing and all that other stuff. And everything was like, oh, the big two is going away. What are we going to do? Blah, blah. You know, meanwhile, you have like, you know, Walking Dead going bonkers, and you have all this other stuff going crazy. And he was just like, no, comics aren't doomed. Comics are amazing, and they're growing, and they're going to get like, and he was talking about all the stuff that's happening now. Yeah. And, you know, so for me, I would love to find a guest of honor that inspires everybody, that leaves, you know, you leave the place and you're like, holy shit, that Kevin Eastman guy, you know, or whatever it is, you know, that Fife guy, you know, like whoever you want, you know, I'm just hoping that I can find somebody that will inspire people.
Agreed.
Good thing to shoot for sure.
Yeah. So everyone in the chat, join the other group and join, you know, throw your ideas at us, at Matt, at Rocko, and who you want to see and what you think would be the most inspiring creator for us to get. Chris Anderson says he owes his career to Seeley. So
yeah, that's going to be a conversation. I'm definitely going to message him afterwards and be like, what are you talking about there? And I need the scoop on that one.
Man, this is awesome. So this is huge. It's on Kickstarter for 3 more weeks. And you know, it's going to get back. It's going to get fully funded and more. And it's going to be, you know, the single greatest live event in the history of CKRS and our whole thing that is coming, you know, from this fan base and from all the amazing stuff and connections and experiences and relationships that we've all had through all this time. It's going to be freaking humongous. I can't wait. Any other final ideas, questions, thoughts? Donde's coming too, and he's gonna have some of his toys that he makes, which are amazing. You can see one back here. You can't see it, but yeah, so we've got a lot of amazing stuff coming. Any other final thoughts, Rocko?
Just if you want it to happen, you have to back it, man. You know, I mean, this stuff is, we're all actively part of something that's bigger than ourselves, you know. I mean, I don't like to think of myself as a cynical person, but I've definitely been accused of that in my lifetime. This is not,
well, that's your rule, sir. That's your box, that you're a part of this. You're part of this convention. You're the cynical guy, and that's fine.
I guess so. But I'm very evangelical about this. This is a big thing. If it's going to work, we need everybody to support it and take ownership in your own ways. You know, if you're waiting for something to happen before you throw your money in, don't. We don't take the money until the Kickstarter is successfully funded at the end of the run. So, you know, don't keep us in suspense. You know, if this is going to happen, we want you to be a part of it. If you're hearing this right now, you're one of the people that needs to be a part of this. That's all there is to that.
Well, one, I always have to thank Manny Gomez for introducing me to this group. If it wasn't for Manny, I would not be part of this group. So Manny, thank you so much. I hope he's enjoying his poolside read right now, because I mean, he probably got his comic books. He's probably off of work. He's probably sitting poolside right now, reading his comics, and I can't wait for the photo. But secondly, I just want everybody to know how hard I'm going to work to make this show a success. Like, this is my one and only goal, is to make this successful for the creators, successful for the fans, and I am going to pound the pavement. I'm going to lift whatever I need to lift to make this a success. And all the people that have like reached out and have been supportive and offered, you know, artwork and posters and advice, like, thank you so much. Like, and I want you to know that I'm going to own this, and I'm going to work as hard as possible on it.
Heck yeah. Hell yeah, man. And for everyone who's going to be there, I just can't wait to be hanging out with you all in March of next year. It'll be my 40th birthday that month too. So come out and let's celebrate 40 years of bullshit from me. And, you know, all the great stuff that we can do for the next 40 years. And then I'll die. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm kidding. But it's going to be an amazing.
80's not too bad.
Yeah, 80's pretty good. You know?
Yeah.
It's going to be an amazing time. I'm super excited. Next March in New Haven, Connecticut. It's going to be huge. What more can we say? Join us. Get on the Kickstarter. It's in the comments below. Back it. Get behind us. Can't wait to see you there. And you know what they say. Don't just read more comics. This is how you do it. This is how you be more comics. Get out there. IRL.
Word.
All right, y'all. Till
Comics
next time. Let's do it.
Comics power.
Bye.